Good morning, good day. How you guys doing? James here. I want to show you a couple videos. Um, what's what's going on and why I think when it comes to a certain demographic of people, they're going to be exiting this country. And I'm going to show you in this video that there are people currently exiting this country, and it's not. And it's a certain demographic is exiting this country. That the next demographic is they're exodus. But why would they exit this country? Well, let me tell you. Let me show you.
I know you've had training, and yet you.
Alright, so I finally figured out why white people were getting so mad and saying stuff like, "You're trying to turn us into the minority." Well, that's because in the first time in forever, the white population has taken a massive, massive decline while the non-white population has increased significantly.
Are you absolutely kidding me? GOP governor, Republican governor of Indiana, is trying to walk back interracial marriage.
Hi lovelies, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those who share my videos with commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real baby. Interracial relationship or interracial marriages are next in line to be found. Huh? So GOP governor Republican is like, okay, interracial relationship should actually be banned. And internet is not having it. Internet is not having it. And the thing is that I was able to grow some stages. There are so many people that is, I think it's a welcome idea. Why so many people are like, oh my god, maybe they're so scared that the white race is declining, so they are just so done with it. Anyways, ladies, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of all the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me all in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please don't forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. Let's dive into it. I'm really just going to come back to talk about it.
Alright, so I finally figured out why white people be getting so mad and saying stuff like, "You're trying to turn us into the minority." Well, that's because in the first time in forever, the white population has taken a massive, massive decline while the non-white population has increased significantly. Just to clarify that a little more, in the 1970s, America was 90% white. In the 2010s, 72.4% white. That's a massive decline. But that was over 40 years. In 2020, the drop went down by about 10%, which is insane. And it's not because the overall population is increasing. They just lost white people. Now, the reason for this decrease isn't because of minorities. It is because of y'all. So a lot of white people like today are super, super old and like super, super rich. So you guys are losing a lot of them. But white women compared to their counterparts have very low fertility rates. So the birth rate is also declining. There's a theory that says this is why a lot of white politicians want to stop abortion, because they want their birth rate to go up. But I guess I shouldn't say all, because 60% of white people say that they're okay with this change. But I feel like that number should be 100%, right? Because what's wrong with being a minority? They don't get treated badly, right? It's all good. And if you think about it, 60% ain't that high when it comes to a question like this. And if you think about it, y'all are all racist because y'all are basically calling all minorities one whole minority. You know what I mean? You're never going to technically be the minority. You're just combining every single race and just calling us all the minority. Man, y'all suck.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes, I think.
Dickhead, what the fuck? For the 1000th time? The end game is racism. The end game is segregation. A GOP governor just said that we should fucking leave interracial marriage up to the states. That this is that equal opportunity by race should not be something that is protected federally. This is what they want. They want for certain states where people have no rights and certain states where people have some rights. They do not care. They do not care about your livelihood or your equality. They hate everything that has to do with them mingling with those they deem as lesser. They want things like slavery brought back to the states.
when, not if, when they come for interracial marriage, I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole lot of fucking white people that walk away from their partners, from their kids. There's going to be so many white people right now, they're like, oh my god, no way, that would never happen. You're just fear-mongering, or you're just this and that. No, listen. I have made a video about interracial marriage before, and the amount of comments that I've gotten from people about their white partners who are completely not in touch with politics or not political are a lot. You will see white partners in these marriages choose white supremacy over their own partners and children. I promise you. Because mind you, these white people have partners and children that look like the people that are being snatched by ICE. They're watching Trump on down talk about their partners. Being DEI hires at work doesn't move them. They don't give a fuck. These same partners, white partners, tokenize their spouse at every turn. So I can't be racist. I have a black, indigenous spouse of color. Y'all see it on here all the time. Well, when the pressure hits and it's building, white people fucking fold to white supremacy all the goddamn time. That's what's happening right now on a national scale. And we're seeing it. We got concentration camps in America. We got the National Guard in LA and DC. We got ICE is snatching up kids, families, deporting. Doesn't matter if they're fucking citizens or not. And white people aren't moved to do shit. So you think when they come down and they try to attack interracial marriage, it's gonna move white people? Absolutely the fuck not. J.D. Vance, I wouldn't be surprised if he set the standard and said, I'm leaving my wife for X, Y, and Z. He'll make some bullshit up. And other white Americans will be like, oh yeah, he did it? Alright, yup, then it's safe for me to walk away. When you as a white person can be in an interracial marriage and you see the way the entire country is treating people that look just like your children or your partner, and you just say, I'm not political, or we don't talk about that in my house, you're fucking going to. When the government comes for your shit, well, you're probably not, because you're going to be too scared to say anything or do anything, because you're just going to be scared of violence from other white people for being in an interracial marriage. White people, as a whole, value white supremacy more than anything in their fucking life. 3 out of 5 white men voted for Trump, 1 out of 2 white women voted for Trump. And everything that's happening right now is what they want. And other white people that don't have a fucking spine, or other white people that don't view their partners as human beings, that don't see their children, their biracial children, as human beings, they'll walk the fuck away. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, here's another witness. Let's not stop there. There's more witnesses. This is Tobit. This would be in the Apocrypha. This is the 14 books that the Roman Catholics removed from the Bible to hide majority of your history and what happened to us back in them ancient days. So this is Tobit chapter 6, and we'll start at verse 12. It says, be aware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of thy seed, of thy fathers, and take not a strange wife. So, right here, again, there we are getting the words, the commandments, not to take strange women, but to take a woman of thy own kindred. Well, let's keep going. Which was not of thy father's tribe, for we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son. So remember the covenant that the Most High made with Abraham at the beginning of the Bible. You can go and find it, seek it out, and read it. But he said, should I keep this thing from Abraham, knowing that he will raise his family up to keep the law, statutes, and commandments? He knew that Abraham would teach his children correctly, according to the law. But there's rebellious children that don't want to abide by the law in taking wives of strange women. These are rebels. But But let's keep going. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. So it's a blessing because your inheritance, your riches, continue with your people, with your kindred. You don't pass that on to the heathens. Like, why give the heathen the best part of you? But that's a whole nother video for a whole new time. Let's keep going. Verse 13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, and sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. So this is self-hatred, and this is what I talk about Stockholm Syndrome. It's a lot of our people that have Stockholm Syndrome. They hate themselves. And the majority of the people that hate themselves, they run to the other nations looking for confirmation, looking for validation, looking for self-confidence in other nations. They hate themselves, and they show that through taking heathen husbands and heathen wives. This is nothing more but self-hate. Let's keep going. And not taking a wife of them, for in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of fatness. So the Most High is saying it's a prideful thing to go and sought out a heathen husband or a heathen wife to marry when he was already commanded to us to marry within our kindred. Pride comes before a fall. And like the Most High said in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3 on down, those that go against his word shall suddenly be destroyed. That's his word. This is a witness. I can keep going. There's more witnesses, okay? So at the end of the day, it's only my job to read this word.
Watch what Apple do to your prostate.
This is the quickest solution to urination problems. Men over 50 are putting an end.
On September 14, 2025, in Galloway area, a young man named Demetrius Moore, known to many simple as D, was found hanging in a shop. Since that day, authorities have released no official information about his passing or the circumstances surrounding it. Broken only by grief, questions, and updates shared by his family and friends. In deed of clarity, there has been finger pointing and a cloud of suspicious hanging over their very community where D lost his life. To those trying to deflect and cover up, we see you. And to those demanding the truth, we stand with you. Justice delayed and justice denied. His family, his classmate, and his community deserves answers. And until justice is served, his name will not be forgotten. This is not just a story of one young man. It's called for accountability, transparency, and truth. Justice for D. Prayers for the family.
Alright, peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And here we have yet another suspicious hanging. This time it is in Galloway, Arkansas, or Pine Bluff, Arkansas. A gentleman just called me a few minutes ago about Demetrius Moore, who was found hanging in a white man's shed, they said, and it was padlocked from the outside. Now, again, this happened on September the 14th, but the city of Pine Bluff just released a statement today, and that's about 3 weeks after a lot of social media posts, which I'm going to show you those posts, but I'm also going to show you that statement, which of course you know what they're ruling it. They're ruling it to self-unalignment, as they always do. Now, before I show you these social media posts, which, you know, kind of sheds light maybe on what that other person was saying, because she said, for those of you trying to deflect, we see you. So, you know, one can take that as, you know, people trying to point others in the wrong direction. But let's just read this statement. saw Pine Bluff. And once again, you see, as it reads, the statement is October 3rd, 2025 for immediate release. A preliminary investigation by the Pine Bluff Police Department into the September the 14th death of Demetrius Moore, 37 of Pine Bluff, indicates that Moore died by the S word. According to the Pine Bluff Police Department's Detective's Office, the Medical Examiner's Office ruled Moore's death an apparent S word by hanging. Detectives are awaiting the full autopsy report to include a toxicology screening before closing the case. Addressing social media chatter related to Moore's death, detectives also noted that the door leading to Moore's dwelling at 802 Moreland in Galloway was not padlocked at the time of his death. Further information about this case will be released when the autopsy report is finalized. So, there you see a statement from the Pine Bluff City Police Department 3 weeks after this. So, first of all, why did you wait 3 weeks to release this statement? Why did it take the people on social media informing the public what really happened for you to make this statement? Now, also, you heard them say the preliminary reports, as they always say. So, if the reports are just preliminary and they haven't even came back yet, then why would you automatically rule that way? And then they say that they're going to include a toxicology screening. What does that have to do with the manner in which he was found? What they want to do with?
Okay. Wait, think it's getting worse? Wait till I show you this one.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this, the Moment of Truth. And now the Friday Crime Report. St. Charles County, Missouri, Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. Going back to school is always a stressful proposition, but in America, the greatest threat to a child's education is white supremacy. On September 23rd, security cameras at Francis Howell High School in St. Charles County, Missouri captured images of a man entering several of the classrooms and bathrooms in the school, including several of the foreign language classrooms. This man wrote racially derogatory and even threatening statements on the bathroom walls and stalls, and sexually explicit words in the classrooms. According to the police report, a biracial student was the first to report the graffiti that was written. It was racial slurs and violent threats toward the African American community in general. The student immediately reported it to the school counselors and took photos of the vandalism. When the police responded, they watched the surveillance video. Only one person went into the classrooms and restrooms at any time. The school custodian, identified as Tyler Carter. The guy who's supposed to be making sure the place was clean was the one who was making it a mess. Police obtained a handwriting sample from Carter and determined that it was similar to the graffiti. After Mirandizing him, Tyler admitted to his crime, as well as pouring chemicals on items in custodial closets. He said that he was tired of cleaning graffiti left by the students. When asked why he targeted the black community with his slurs and threats, he said it was because he thought the graffiti in the past had been left by black students. He also claimed that he had been bullied by black students when he was in school, because of course he was. Carter was arrested and charged with second-degree property damage and harassment motivated by discrimination to frighten or disturb. At last report, he was being held on a $50,000 bond. Now, predictably, because the targets of this racial harassment were black, they didn't charge this guy with a hate crime, which is what he should have been charged with. These are terroristic threats the whole 9 yards. I posted for you on Twitter about how there was an incident at Syracuse University where someone had decided to throw a bag of pork into a Jewish frat house. That resulted in hate crimes charges. So some reprobate decides to vandalize the walls at a school where black children go to, putting up messages about murdering and killing, and that doesn't warrant a hate crimes charge, but throwing some pork into somebody's Jewish frat house does. This is what should count as prosecutorial misconduct. Whenever prosecutors have perfect grounds to actually apply a case, but they just decide, well, we're not going to do it because we don't have the right victims. What does that mean? Well, the victims be surprised to learn that this isn't the first racial scandal that this school system's had. Wow.
Mitchell Long can't stop thinking about it. Last Thursday, he found a noose hanging from this restroom stall inside Francis Howell Central School Athletic Stadium. Long is a father of 2 in the district.
I was like, are we really doing this? This can't be real. I'm tripping.
Long says he grabbed another parent to witness what he saw. They snapped photos and alerted coaches immediately, who Long says were apologetic. But he says the school and district leadership failed. The district tells First Alert 4 it doesn't tolerate hate, adding they don't believe this is a racially motivated incident. Long says school leaders told him a kid was in a crisis. I asked the district about that Monday. It had no further comment.
We have a pattern of racial incidents in our district that is increasing, right? We have a rise in these incidents.
Jamie Martin is with Francis Howell Forward, a group of parents advocating for inclusivity in the district.
No matter the reason a noose is hanging in the bathroom, it can't be good.
Francis Howell Forward would like to see the district's equity committee, as well as the resolution against racism and discrimination, restored.
5 on Your Side has followed other incidents involving the Francis Howell School District in the past year. Last year, a noose was found hanging in the bathroom behind the Francis Howell Central High School football field. The school board also reversed a ban on educational materials that included hate speech. And recently, the board voted to ban Black Studies courses, prompting protests and walkouts. Leaders later reinstated them with some modifications.
So, in the past, this school system's been the site of nooses being left to intimidate black students, and you got a school board that's been doing their own pathetic impersonation of moron DeSantis' performative extremism. Black students have to be on full alert, as do their parents. And stop expecting the racists who have miseducated black children for over 100 years to decide to suddenly educate them now. We keep trying to have faith in bigots, and that doesn't work. This reprobate was sneaking into the bathrooms that these children use. Somebody should be trying to find out if he was leaving anything else in those bathrooms besides graffiti. And yeah, I'm talking about cameras. As surely as night follows day, these white supremacists can always be counted on to engage in the lowest and the basest of sexual degeneracy. When somebody stoops so low as to threaten children, you really can't put anything past them. The entire reason that racists like this pull these stunts is precisely because they know that they have the open approbation and support of the so-called administrators. That's the reason why these creeps never get fired. They just get transferred from one place to another. They depend on that, they rely on that, because that's what white supremacy is, a system of goodies, giveaways, and guarantees that they're going to be insulated from what should be the natural consequence.
In today's financial world, your customers expect seamless, secure mobile access to banking.
So I had some white colleagues ask me what I thought about Trump actually segregating whites and blacks, and I actually told them straight up, like, honestly, I would love that. Now, they looked at me like I was crazy, and they almost spit up their almond milk, and I think they thought that maybe I was saying that out of hatred, but it really isn't about hatred. Here's the thing, I'm not talking about their version of segregation. See, I'm talking about our version of righteous separation, spiritual sovereignty, and black sufficiency. See, the truth of it is that integration was never about freedom. It was finesse. It was a system's way of saying, let's stop them from succeeding independently so we can profit from their brilliance directly. It was about control. And so I want us to be very clear about this, you know. We were never separate but equal. So that's a lie. We were separate and excelling. We had our own schools, we had our own banks, we had our own businesses, and baby, we were thriving. Black Wall Street, they burned it. Rosewood, they bombed it. Wilmington, they overthrew it. Why? Because we were doing too well without them, and they couldn't handle that. And so that's the truth. They didn't really want segregation gone, they wanted control. This is why we know that integration was just repackaged of chains. When we were separate, we actually were building and excelling. And when they saw that we could excel without them, then it was like, oh no, we gotta take control and make sure that their labor is profiting us. So right around that time, they rolled out this whole standardized
SAT. Y'all remember that? They created this IQ ranking to measure their norms, not our brilliance. And then we were said we were behind when we really weren't. We were just building our own lane, not asking for theirs. See, I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of tired of the lies. It's very exhausting, you know, just the lies that continue to be promoted. And I want to talk about the melanin, because this whole thing that we're not smart enough, that we're not bright enough, is simply just a lie. And so, you know, all this testing that they're doing, and I have kids in school, and they're made to feel that they cannot achieve. And I have to remind them about their actual superpower, melanin. See, not just your skin tone, but in your brain, specifically neuromelanin, that rich dark pigment found in areas like the substantia nigra, which are critical for learning and memory and decision making and emotional regulation. See, if you don't know, then you won't know how to respond. But when you learn about the studies that have actually linked the neuromelanin to higher concentrations and how it's related to enhanced memory and processing and higher intelligence and faster reaction times, then you know why they have hidden this information for so long. Because when you have higher melanin, you have stronger brain resilience against degenerative diseases. So translation to that is melanin doesn't just make you glow, it makes you grow. So we know that it's not coincidental that people with more melanin have historically been creators, inventors, innovators across every discipline, while also being the most suppressed, because they know that the more melanin you have in your body and in your brain actually produces higher intelligence. So the Bible also says this too in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verses 7. It says he placed treasures in earthen vessels. What treasures? It was in us all along, right?
You see, right now if you talk of Nelson Mandela, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, people think of him as one great person. No matter where you go, Mandela is a good man, right? He's a good man, wherever you are. There are kind of people, there are some people in this world who, no matter where you go, they'll always be good. And then, the other people whom you will have like a map, or rather a chart, or rather I would call it a scale, right? Some people will be, oh, so-and-so is good. Some other people, so-and-so is a no. I'm telling you, don't go there. We have those kinds of people. For Nelson Mandela, he was a good man, right? Depending on whom you ask, the answer never changed. So the same question is of black people when asked of Donald Trump, right? When you ask an American black of Donald Trump, you will hear very different answers. And by the way, some black people will give positive attributes to Donald Trump, while some black people, many of them of course, will give negative attributes to Donald Trump. But now again, if you go to the white people, majority of them will give positive attributes about Donald Trump. I think you get the logic. Trump is thinking of Trump in a certain negative way is not a stereotype anymore. It has been confirmed. So let's listen to her give an answer to a white person who supports Trump and her not supporting Trump. It's a very, very powerful thing that I want us to listen to it. I shall get back by the end of it. Of course, where we shall also have a deep critical analysis.
So we have more melanin, and we know that people with less melanin, because it's a recessive gene and it's a mutation, lack the same level of intelligence, of many different benefits that come along with that. What's so interesting about it is that we're supposed to be looking at this as if it's something negative. But why is it negative when every other cultural group does this? Group economics. See, the truth of the matter is they have stolen from us so many different
things, and yet we still survive. And so I don't want to offend, but I have to be blunt here. When we invented it, they patented it. When we built it, they banked on it. So everything we created, they made sure they benefited off of it. Just like Louis Latimer, he actually developed the light bulb, but Edison got all the glory for it. And this has been going on through history. We know that Granville T. Woods laid the foundation for trains. Corporations got the contracts. Dr. Patricia Bath revolutionized eye surgery. The system licensed the tech. Black music became white record labels, billion-dollar industries off of our talent. Every time we create, they capitalize. We are the genius, but they control the royalties. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So when we talk about the facts and segregation, I want to be very clear. It's not racist. We have to understand the dynamics of this. See, the black dollar actually is the fastest running dollar in America. So let's do the math here. And I think it's quite funny. Black people have spending power over 1.6 trillion. But guess what? That dollar stays in our community just for 6 hours. While the white community, their dollar stays in their community 17 days. And guess what? Asian communities, it stays in their community 20 days. Jewish communities over 3 weeks. Why? Because we're systemically disarmed from owning what we built. And this is no coinky-dink. The scripture said this would happen. So now our dollar does the labor, but the system collects the check. And this is why I support segregation on our own terms. See, that 400 years of slavery is over. And when I say that I want us to be segregated, I don't mean oppressed. I mean organized. Let's build black banks again. Let's educate our babies on the truth, not whitewashed lies. And let's support black farmers, black techs, black healing, black brilliance. And no, it doesn't mean I hate white people. No, it means I finally love us enough to stop begging for scraps from a table we built but never welcome to. See, the Bible told us about this. Yet, we hop, skip, and jump over the fact that Deuteronomy 28, 43, and 44 already said it. It says, the stranger shall rise above you high, and you shall come down low. They shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to them. And this is exactly what has been happening for 400 years plus years. We built houses, businesses, schools, and they took them and taxed them to death. But beloved, there's hope, because Deuteronomy 30 and 3 also says, and Yah will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all nations. So yes, I welcome segregation, because restoration is already in motion. And I want y'all to understand this. We are not asking for more, we're building. See, we were never given anything from you all. I'm not asking to sit at somebody's table anymore. See, I'm trying to go along with scripture and build my people, gather my people, not because they are more melanated, but because we need to know that we serve the Most High and that He's going to take care of us, because separation was never our curse, it was our covenant. And now it's our strategy. It says to come out from among them, be ye separated. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. So this isn't about racism. It's about us reclaiming what is already ours. So this is just a quick message to my...
Wow. That's powerful. But you see in this video why some people feel the way they do. But also, out of the melanated people, this is about to happen, because when you get fed up with something, you do something about it.
They treat us like we're animals or some type of threat to society, when they are the real threats.
Have you seen the exchange between Donald Trump and the Liberian president? Originally, I was just getting ready to come on here and yap and poke fun, but the truth is, it's just not working anymore. The blatant disrespect of people
people of color, black people, African American, they insult our intelligence. They treat us like we're animals or some type of threat to society when they are the real threats. All we want is to be left alone. I'm tired of watching the news. I'm tired of it. Like, it's literally to the point where I am strongly considering leaving the U.S. And I'm not talking about just something that I'm just saying. Like, I am literally trying to make plans to take my family to somewhere where we don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
White people.
Okay, white America. I come with a message from black America. We are leaving. We are leaving. You have won. We are leaving. All of us are leaving. All the colored people, all the brown people, we are leaving. You're gonna get what you want. We are leaving. We are leaving, okay? You're gonna get what you want. You say you all want us out of America, we are leaving. We are leaving. We promise. We have no problems leaving. As long as you leave Africa and you leave the Caribbean, don't take nothing. Just go. Just go. That's it. That's the arrangement. You leave Africa and you leave the Caribbean and don't come back. Don't take nothing. Walk out with your two hands empty. That's the arrangement. We will leave America sure to the blue eyes, to those that say they want to make America great again, to those that say black people need to leave, Spanish people need to go. We will leave as long as you leave Africa and the Caribbean. Tell me what you think. Do we have a deal? Let me know.
America! We're tired of living like this. We're tired of suffering like this. We can build a nation of our own. Black men died at Pearl Harbor. Black men died in Guadalcanal, in the Solomon Islands, in the Philippines, at Iwo Jima. Black men died in North Africa fighting the Germans. Black men died at Anzio Beach, at Palermo, at Naples, to free Rome, to free Paris, to free Europe. Damn it! We died to build America. And America has rebuilt Germany and Japan, and the nigger is still suffering and dying in the streets of America.
Africa is dangerous. Yup. Imagine my friend yesterday, I posted on my story about the 6 months that I lived in Africa and how I can't wait to go back this year. And this brother said to me, he said, man, Africa is dangerous. My brother, you live in Chirac. Yes, home of King Von, the serial unaliver, Chief Keef. We saw what happened over Juneteenth weekend. I mean, come on, man. It's dangerous in the States. And I think that's one of the things that they use to scare us, fear, instilling fear in us and saying, oh, this is dangerous. Oh, this is scary. Don't do this, right? And if you listen to that, you internalize it, you realize that, it makes you not want to leave your environment. It makes you want to stay trapped in a potentially very dangerous environment, more so than where you want to go or travel to. It's almost like the lie when they tell us that Africans hate us. I'm going to do a video about that, so look out for that. It's like, no, don't do this because this thing is scary or it's bad. It's like when people used to say money is the root of all evil. You're using scare tactics and fear mongering to prevent people from wanting to branch out and do other things that may help their lives or expand their consciousness. Listen, go visit Africa, man. all back there. All these Americans are coming to get this amazing property. So, guys, follow me today, and you'll see the crew back there. They for real? Except that one right there. But it's all good. So, all right, guys. See y'all guys on the inside.
So I've started seeing a trend with you guys asking me why did I leave the United States? Why did I move to Kenya? How did I do it? Just why? And so the first reason is definitely, this is what my breakfast commute used to look like. I'd stop for coffee and like a croissant sandwich, and there'd be this. This is what breakfast looks like now. It's at a private table, it's by the beach, it's amazing. But easily the most important thing is I was working before he grabbed my hand and wanted to go outside. And I was able to just stop working and do it. And that's how I live life now. It's way more important to me that I'm present for my family, which was not an option back in the United States. So I left, and now I live at the beach in Kenya, and I'm living my best life for sure.
Now all these people are living in America. And America, I believe, is, collapsing. Because these are the very foundation of American economy, but right now they are living in masses. What is going to happen? I have these videos here that I have compiled here for you, and some of which they show Black Americans living in different parts of Earth, different continents, and what does this, bring to your mind? Let's have this discussion later on after this clip. I'll be reacting on these videos, so make sure that you watch to the very end. And man, if this is your first time here, please do subscribe, like our videos, and share our content. We're going to greatly appreciate. For now, let's jump in and see what we have here. Make sure that you watch to the very end so that you can get to hear from my perspective. Don't leave without subscribing, man. Just do us a favor, tap that subscription button and also notification button so that you get notified whenever we release any video at any time. Let's jump in.
So, since there's so many of y'all on here talking about go back to Africa, you should go, blah, 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 I decided to ask ChatGPT, Chat, what would happen if all Black Americans left the U.S. and returned to Africa? And one thing ChatGPT do not do is lie, baby. So this is what ChatGPT said. This is food for thought for everybody who's saying go back to Africa. So first, Black Americans make up 14% of the U.S. population and contribute significantly to healthcare, education, sports, entertainment, government. And a sudden departure would create significant labor shortages. That's one. Two, Black Americans contribute over $1.7 trillion annually to the U.S. economy. A departure like that would create a sudden loss of economic power. 3, Black-owned businesses which employ millions of Americans would shut down or relocate, shifting the wealth to whatever country all of us went to. Number 4. Now this one gonna really piss you off. This one gonna piss you off. Loss of cultural influence. Black Americans, and I quote, Black Americans have shaped U.S. culture through jazz, hip-hop, and blues, fashion, language, and sports. Their departure would significantly alter America's cultural identity. Of course, we know that there will be a shift in elections, particularly for the Democratic Party. There won't be a need for NAACP and Black Lives Matter.
But here's where it gets good again. A decline in innovation. Blacks foster creativity and innovation. The loss of racial diversity could slow technological advances. See, y'all ancestors ain't tell y'all how sick y'all was. See, y'all, before y'all found us, y'all was fighting each other. See, ain't nobody passed that information on to y'all. Y'all don't know about all that. See, our people passed information on. Y'all people didn't. Y'all wanted to be lost in translation, but we know. We know. We know.
I get asked all the time, why would you leave the USA to come to Africa? Or specifically Namibia, because I'm being asked me. I realize a lot of people don't know the experience of what Black American looks like. But the first answer is, it's spiritual. This is the land that my ancestors are from. I am from African ancestry. And this is where I believe I belong. My ancestors came from here. They didn't come because they wanted to be in America. They came because they were taken as captives, prisoners of war. And that is a different thing than if they had decided, if my ancestors said, I love America, I love this land, I want to go there. Maybe that's a different thing. Maybe I'd have a different spirit about it. But at this point, I felt a deep spiritual call, and my husband as well. I felt a deep spiritual call to be in this land. And it was a spiritual call we could not deny for any conveniences that we might have in the States. So we achieved the American dream in the States. We worked very hard. We both came from families that were hardworking people that had to work from the bottom to the, to get to college and to achieve our dreams. And then we were able to save up enough money to be able to make this move, which is expensive.
My husband and I have decided that we just can't do it anymore. We decided to break our lease early and to just leave the country as soon as possible. We're thinking Vietnam initially, then Thailand. Our plan so far is to work every single day until we get over there, to use Delta points to fly there, and to use Hilton points to be able to stay at least for free for the first 3 months. While I'm there, I plan on doing English teaching online to supplement income, but I do plan on having as much money saved as possible. Just need a mental break. At first I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a year siesta to get my life together and, get my mental health together. But honestly, it's just so stressful being here. We don't know how long we want to stay gone, but we do know that we're going to travel a few countries, and we want to stay gone at least 2 or 3 years now. We are literally going to turn our whole lives upside down in the next 6 months. So if y'all have any suggestions, please let us know, because at this point, we're just winging it. We're just
Wow, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video short because I don't want to make it too long. Well, you see what's going on, and I don't blame none of these people. Look at throughout this whole video what it was basically about. You can't stand the people. There are people that can't stand to be in the presence of a people that have melanin skin. They have to torment the kids and go to extreme. And yeah, even though that it can go both ways, and like the one guy, black on black crime, but majority it is, you can't be in coexistence with somebody that just keep this mindset. People are fed up being microaggression. People are fed up just with the politics and what you see what they're trying to do. And like I make a previous video, if your spouse is of a different race, you ain't gonna want to be in this country too long, because you have a present administration is trying to take it back. And you can see what the spin of it is in this generation. We're experiencing things, and it's almost like it's a cycle every year. It's the same cycle every decade. It's just over and over and over. Whether they police in this country, policing different individuals, make you feel rigorous. Why would you? What after all this you fought hard, try to live the American dream. They write policies to take your stuff away. You contribute just like any other American, and this is what they do to you. You can't, people are to the point. They're breaking, and it's really causing their mental health, what's causing their physical health, and yet how you stay patriotic with all that? How you, and even though our ancestors contribute, but yet you still being pushed the back of the corner, the back of the woods. You're just a scenery until we see you. So why can't people be in their own scenery and be seen, be known? The Lord never meant for this to happen, that we subjugate and put other people on the totem pole. And when one people think that they're rising above, enjoy all the benefits, and the other ones don't. But yet when the land was made for everybody to come and prosper, but you got people with envious and jealousy spirit to keep the generational thing going. Now that the curse has fallen on them, who's in agreement with keeping other people in bondage, now is at their back door, and they hooping, they hollering, they crying, they're saying, "Oh, we can come together as Americans now." Too late. After you're going through this from generation after generation, you get fed up. You're fed up with the same nonsense over and over and over again. The same generation, you pass on that to the next generation, and now you pass it on, to what's going to come in the future. Ignorance, envious and jealousy, and this pass on envious and jealousy and bigotry, and classism and social, subjecting other people based on what God has put on the human body because of their skin. How is it? Why would anybody want to stay here? Because any human being knows that's not right, and it's going to hurt us, the economy, and the ones who do leave. And like I said, if I was a black person with inventions and with ideas, don't pour your talent into this country when they're going to steal and take away patent for themselves. Go overseas and take it, if it's benefit humanitarian, they might need it overseas, and they might give you credit, because you might be accepted. Because right now, they're going to steal it and take credit for themselves. And they just, oh, that's nice. But they'll give it to somebody because they'll steal your idea and put a face somebody what their idea of it is. Because they don't want just the reality that talent goes in every direction, not supposedly one direction. Every individual have something to contribute other than music and sports. But you can't tell these people, because America believes in a stereotype when it comes to any group of people. God never intended for one group of people to have just sports and entertainment. There's more inside that person. But we're conditioned in this country, of all the cultures and all the nations, that everybody's equal, but you can't have the same skills because as a reprobate saying that my culture and my class is better than your class, and we gotta display it. They don't say it with words, but they display it with a smile. We got a long way to go, and for the people I don't blame them for leaving. Time's up. Don't get yourself stressed and lose your health and your mindset over some ignorant individual. Be blessed on your travels, ladies and gentlemen. Like and subscribe. Till next time, take care. And those who leave the United States, I understand. Do what you gotta do for you, yourself, and your family, because you see what's really happening in this reality. Take care.